A facade is often called the outer envelope of the building, and besides having an aesthetic purpose, it also protects the building and everything inside it from a wind, water, fire, seismic events, and provides thermic isolation. But it doesn't stop there. Today, you will often find solar panels, sensors, actuators integrated into a facade, essentially turning the building into a dynamic object that senses and responds to its surroundings. My name is Ahmed Mahmutovic, and joining me is Adnan Jelacic, Commercial Director at the APS Facade. Adnan Jelacic was born in 1995 in Den Haag, in the Netherlands. After studying building environment and architecture at Rotterdam University of Applied Sciences, he started his first employment in renowned Dutch companies. Not long after that, in 2018, he began his partnership with the APS Facade, where he found his passion in facade engineering and making his clients' architectural ideas a reality. APS Facade was founded in 2008 by Elvir Hadic, member of the Beja diaspora living in the Netherlands. They are a regional leader in the field of facade engineering, design, and consulting with 7 offices around the world and over 100 projects behind them. Their projects can be found in London, Brighton, Reading, Copenhagen, and many other cities of the world. In Bosnia and Herzegovina, they operate from 3 locations, Sarajevo, Mostar, and Banja Luka, offering opportunities to work on major international projects while also providing the option of remote work. I'm very excited to have Adnan here and to listen to his and the APS success story and what the future has styled for them. So welcome Adnan to the podcast.
Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you. Thank you for having me here at your podcast. It's good to be here and to speak with you about these topics. So I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Thank you so much, Adnan. We are really grateful to have you here. To start with our questions, first one would be, what motivated you to join APS Facade and take on the role of commercial director? What was going on in your life at the time and what pulled you towards the company at the end?
Good question. Well, it all started approximately 4 years ago when I met Elvir Hadic in 2018. Elvir Hadic, just as you mentioned, is the founder of APS. Well, at that time, I lived in the Netherlands and I worked for a Dutch facade company. I was born and raised in the Netherlands, so I ran through all of this in our sector. I knew the Dutch market very well. I had my own projects, my own clients, etc. Besides that, I always had a dream to establish my own business and combine the best of 2 worlds, the Netherlands and Bosnia. I knew that it wasn't that easy, especially not in our business. So APS was actually taking off at that time. The company had good references, established a good name in the UK. Our ambition back then was to start doing bigger projects in the UK, especially in the Netherlands. So Elvin and I talked a lot about this and about the options, how to set up the Dutch market, etc., etc. And at one point, I remember I was just like, don't think about the risk. The feeling was good. He had an amazing team already. So it was just like, just do it, just start, go with the flow, and we will see where we'll end. So I became partner at that moment, and the rest is history. Yeah, we struggled the first period with our Dutch projects. At the time, I was working as an all-rounder from doing sales, execution of the projects, and basically the after sales. And parallel to this, I was also involved in the UK sales. Eventually, we created a full operating team for both entities, what gave me the chance to focus on the general sales of the whole APS group and become commercial director, what I'm now at this moment.
We met like 1 year ago, I want to say, while Ellie was my mentor in the foundation. And what really struck me is that you're only 25 years old and you are a commercial director, you are the partner. That's really incredible. And my question would be, how do you navigate a position with so much responsibility at such a young age?
Well, answer to that is I have an amazing team. In all operating countries, we have our local teams with experts in the field. Our sales team is also divided like that in separated teams. So that's how we try to keep everything structured, and it makes it also easier for me. Other thing is I really love to work with people, with our clients especially, to manage my teams. We have our daily meetings where we discuss our sales-related topics and actions. I'm still learning a lot, and I will never stop learning, actually. I have good support from Elvir and from our local partner in the UK, for example, Ryan Ainsworth. Other thing is when you love your work with passion, take a responsibility, work hard, motivate your circle, you can do anything, Ahmed. So age is just a number in this case. I started working on a really young age, for example. And sometimes you need to put things on the side and sacrifice some other things in life in order to get somewhere. Oh, at this moment, I see younger people doing incredible things with just 17, 18 years old. This is also a good example that you can get anywhere if you really want it.
That's really great answer. Thank you for answering that, Adnan.
Yeah.
So I would like to talk about a little bit of the your work you're doing because you work in construction projects. You must navigate very strict safety regulations that even vary between the countries that you work for. How do you tackle the challenges of offering aesthetically pleasing and functionally innovative solutions to your clients, while at the same time you follow the necessary regulations?
Good question. Again, I think this is all part of the teamwork. See, we have made mistakes in the past and we are still making mistakes. This is normal and a good thing actually, because it means that you are learning. From the past, we have learned that we really need local technical experts, people that follow the regulations, latest developments, and solutions on the specific markets. So yeah, we have our team members now and we are constantly catching up on these things with them together. Yeah, each project is very specific, requires a lot of attention in order to give the client the right solution. So sharing the information from our local team members to our sales department is definitely a must. We try to keep on track with these latest developments and implement that in all ongoing inquiries that we have at the moment. So I think that's the way how we do that and how we manage to keep everything on track.
Yeah, that sounds really amazing. The next up is what were some of the biggest challenges APS Facade had to solve in the last couple of years?
Past 2 years, for example, we have seen that the market literally exploded. Developers were building a lot, especially in the UK and the Netherlands. In this period, the demand was bigger than the supply. So yeah, system suppliers were struggling with their lead times. For us as APS, it was really hard to keep track with the execution of the ongoing project. You can imagine that the disappointment was big for some of our clients when we informed them about the lead times of our products. Yeah, in most of the cases, we found solution together and we managed to limit the damage. But I think, yeah, when I look back to everything, I think that was the biggest challenge for us, actually.
What are the major challenges your organization and industry are facing at the moment?
I think after the situation that where we talked about, yeah, just before, where the demand was bigger than the supply and where developers were doing a lot, we also parallel to this, we saw that the prices of aluminium and glass were rising and actually are still rising at this moment, something that's going on for approximately a year now. So yeah, it's really hard to predict where this is going because we are working for projects that sometimes have a lead time of a year or even longer. So in the sales phase, we are also working on projects that will start, for example, in 2024 or 2025, for example. So you need to make good agreements with all the parties that are involved, and that's really challenging. I think another thing is, yeah, to find the right people, especially in our field. It's not that you can learn everything regarding facade engineering at school or university, or you have one facade faculty in the Netherlands and that's it, basically. We've talked about this together for a few times, I think. Most of the things you learn by practice. So finding people with the knowledge in this field is very hard. On the other hand, we are trying to teach the youth more about this industry, try to trigger them on a different way. So we often schedule visits as high schools and university, talk with BA Future Foundation, for example, organize webinars, etc. Just to share our story and the international experience that we have gained over the years.
I would like to expand a little bit on the field that you're working in, because I know that you have architects, you have civil engineers, you have mechanical engineers, there might structural engineers. Could you explain to me maybe why isn't there, let's say in Bosnia, a facade engineering? Because I think there is a demand for it, and I feel that many of your engineers are basically learning the new things that they probably wouldn't need to learn in any other field of industry. I feel that facade engineering is combining everything. Could you expand a little bit upon that?
Good question. Well, I think that the facade industry is developing very, very quickly over the last 40, 50 years. We have seen many different trends and solutions for a facade. So yeah, construction itself is a very big industry. And I think for faculties, for universities, it's very hard to catch up on on all these items, and yeah, have the right people to teach the youth about the facade itself and the facade engineering. So I think that's the reason why it's very hard to give that back to the youth and teach them about that, because the construction itself is such a big topic, contains a lot of detailed and complex items actually.
Maybe one day we will get to see you as a professor teaching us the students about facade engineering. Which practices are you putting in play to ensure your company is viable, profitable, and healthy in the next 10 years? And how these challenges affect your strategy and vision?
Building a good and healthy relationship with clients, partners, and individuals is something that I personally want to focus on more within our organization. Well, like I said, as an organization, we already focus now a lot on the well-being of our team members. So yeah, keeping this team spirit in an ongoing organization, going from 15 people a few years ago to a team of 55 people now, can be very challenging. I think that's a good starting point. It's also important to establish a good pipeline with projects, short-term and long-term projects, and that in order to keep the business stable. In some situations that can maybe result in expanding our businesses on other markets and other countries. For us, it's very important to follow the global situation and be flexible in these situations. As a team, we have worked on different international projects in different countries. So we had this privilege where we had the possibility actually to gain knowledge on different markets. So that's making us very flexible actually, and all around improvement is an ongoing thing. So focus is basically on learning.
That is a great answer, Adnan. What I would like to talk about is the collaborations you're doing with Bosnian companies.
Well, we have two sides within our company. One is the design and engineering team that we have here. So our local Bosnian facade experts, which have gained the knowledge in doing everything and preparing the design of a facade, for example. But then we have to make it reality actually. So we proceed with the design drawings that we have and manufacture, for example, windows, big complex facades, doors, unitized elements, etc., within Bosnia. And the focus for us now is having local partners. So we work with system suppliers, actually European system suppliers that's supply in Bosnia, and local Bosnian manufacturers manufacture actually these positions that we send over to the UK, to the Netherlands, and all the operating countries. It is the system suppliers are European parties, but the manufacturers are local Bosnian parties.
That's really great to hear that not only that you are the partner in the company, that it is great to know that you are also supporting the businesses in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And with that, I would like to ask you, where do you see the biggest opportunity for collaboration between your and other industries in the future?
I think the current situation, the shortage of people in all aspects, where we talked about already, I think that situation will bring us in a different situation where you will need to combine all these topics. So let's say construction related aspects, that in order to give the client what he needs for his projects. What I mean to say with that is that we are heading towards a situation where you will need to provide a full package, let's say a complete facade element, prefabricated. And you see now that we are working on different construction sites, spending a lot of time to install. It's a period where you have a labor shortage actually. So it's really hard to do that. These all in facade elements that I'm talking about can include different items. For example, with a window itself, closed parts, interior finish, wall sockets, electricity, etc. So to get to this point, you will have to combine all relevant items in the design and engineering phase of a project. So to create the right output, you will have to get the right input from different companies, from different industries. And I think that's the biggest opportunity for us when you look at the projects that will come in the near future.
I would like to finish with one last question, and it is about the smart buildings. During a Future Leaders Summit, we had the operational director of APS as a fireside chat, and one of the themes was smartification or automatization of facades. Is that something that you see that APS would be doing, and what new practices or what other fields do you think there is a need for in the, let's say, 10, 20 years of facade engineering?
Well, I think the main reason is that there has been a drastic shift, let's say, from traditional buildings with thick walls and small windows to contemporary buildings now with big grand glass and aluminium facades. I'm talking about the last 40, 50 years where this change has occurred actually, like we mentioned already. We see now that the advancement in technology and alternative materials is changing the way architects are thinking actually about the facade of a building. It's maybe not a technology, but a trend where we are talking about now at this moment, with this growing interest in alternative materials and energy efficient buildings. Architects are now literally experimenting with innovative facade design, and facade technology is mainly driven by solar control, wherein the idea is to maximize natural daylight without excessive heat gain. So yeah, that's what Dado mentioned at our technical director mentioned at the FLS event. For example, we see many examples where architects see the facade skin as a human skin, where the idea is to protect the inner part of the building with the facade that responds to. It's basically a self-regulated facade system, what you see, and the technology behind it. And I think that will appear more and more in the future. And we will have to combine all aspects to get to these self-regulating facade systems. So yeah, hope that this is the answer on your question.
Thank you, Adnan. It was short, but quite enjoyable talking to you. Also, I wanted to say it was great seeing you and the APS at Future Slayer Summit. I hope that you enjoyed it. We are very glad to have you, and we hope that you will be joining us at the next year.
Thank you, Ahmed. Once again, thank you for having us on this podcast and on the FLS event. We definitely enjoyed it, and yeah, I hope to see you very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Adnan. See you soon.